Hey guys, Alex from 7th Hour Films back again with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Last time around we had Heavy Forecast Part 2, where we mainly focused on the backstory of Poochie and Weather Forecast, where basically they were twins, separated at birth. And eventually, when they were teenagers, Weather ended up dating, by accident, his biological sister. And so Poochie decided that he was going to put a stop to this. However, he didn't realize that he hired the clan, and they basically just lynched Weather, and then the sister killed herself, and then the arrow pierced Poochie, which then awoke Weather's stand, and then Snails. We still don't know why Snails. I bet he's not going to reveal why Snails, but Snails, and then we saw Poochie take away Weather's memories, and then eventually he met up with Dio, and then back to the present, again, Snails, and Weather is about to encounter Poochie. He's going to settle the score, and to be fair, I am way more on his side now. And once he's done, he wants Anastasia to kill him because, I mean, if anyone can, it's probably Anastasia. Have you seen the crap that Diver Drive can do? So, yeah. That was pretty much that. So, like always, the reaction is down in the description and in the pinned comment for your viewing pleasure. So why don't we just go ahead and jump right into this episode of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Here we go. Destiny is mine. Damn. All right. I had my doubts. But the story of Weather Forecast. Now that's some good shit right there. And I'll say that honestly, makes up for whatever problems I had with the post-prison arc, you know? It's kind of weird that it's the three sons of Dio, and Versus was alright. Versus was pretty good, but the three sons of Dio were pretty mid. They were pretty mid. This Weather Forecast stuff, that's the good shit right there. I mean, again, you want to talk about a Shakespearean tragedy, you know? That in the end, even he died. Which, I mean, when you hear a character say, I'll be the one to put an end to all this, and it's no, you're not, and it's an unfortunate thing of and especially too, we got 8 more episodes of part 6, so it's well, no, but let's not let this take away from the undeniable fact that Araki really tried to spin subliminal snails into this. Which is, and I think I can say this with a degree of confidence, one of the dumbest things in the entirety of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. The rainbow has a subliminal message of a snail, and thus the body decides, I am snail. But if you are blind, and you obviously cannot see it, then you're fine. And it doesn't affect weather, and didn't affect... It's funny that in all that time, it didn't affect Anastasia. I mean, I guess he just didn't see the rainbow. If I can taste the rainbow, jeez. Still, It is one of the stupidest things that Araki has ever tried to make serious, you know? Where it's like, oh, if you look at the rainbow, it will give you the subliminal message of snails. Thus your body will become a snail. That's stupid. But the Shakespearean tragedy on top of it, it would be like if in Macbeth, everything about Macbeth is exactly the same, except because Macbeth and Lady Macbeth want to kill the king, all the clothes in the land become cheese. Remember that it's still the story of Macbeth. It's still the story of Macbeth. They're just wearing cheese. Now, does that present a problem in the story? Yes. All of their clothes are made of cheese. But does that actually affect the plot? No. And it's pretty dumb. So, that is the analogy that I'm going to use, is what if in Macbeth everything was exactly the same except their clothes turned into cheese? It's basically this, where we have the tragedy of the Pucci brothers, the whole Pucci family. Pucci, Perla, and Weather. And also subliminal snails, which has nothing to do with the weather other than the rainbows. Like, well, why snails? Why not anything else? They turn into, bottles of Pepsi. I don't know. Why snails? Why does a rainbow give off the subliminal image of a snail? And am I going to be able to say subliminal properly without screwing it up? Subliminable. That's not the word. Why couldn't it just be like a freak storm? Like, oh, with his powers fully unlocked, it just creates like a hurricane over Orlando. Or just like, or like the worst, like the biggest combination of all weather, because he's weather forecast. Also, they were hyping up this whole thing of like, oh, what would happen if he took away the ozone layer and stuff, and it's like, and then that never came back. Still, the rest of it was interesting. Again, I think, again, this does redeem a lot of this post-prison arc, because, again, I didn't really care about, it's like, oh, he's to bring Disney characters to life, and like, okay, it's kind of weird, and it's like, oh, I guess that's okay. And then Sky Guy, I drink to forget that one. That was the dumbest thing ever. Oh, this fire doesn't even hurt me. Lifting this rock is like nothing. And then versus, like, once you get into it, I guess that's the same as the Bohemian Ecstatic, where it's like, once you get it, it's like, okay, I guess this is alright. And honestly, I think the only reason Versus really just works is because, I think it's just because, he was a wrinkle, he was in it for himself. Like, that was kind of interesting, but I'm curious what they will do with the weather forecast stand, because it's like he specifically like gave He specifically took his own disc out. He took his own disc out and entrusted it to Jolene. So, I mean, is she going to use that then? I guess here's the question. Can you use two stands at once via the discs? Because she technically tried that once. Because when she recovered Star Platinum, she did put it in herself. That sounds worse than I meant it to. But she did... No, inserting it doesn't sound good either. She did put it in the tray of her head. There we go. And like it basically like busted out of her. Like, now, was that a thing of like you can't have two stands, or nobody can handle Star Platinum? But yeah, what is she going to do with the weather forecast stand? That's an interesting idea. And honestly, the fight itself was pretty good. I like the blood spikes. I thought that was really interesting. Using Anastasia's eyes was another interesting thing. I mean, I feel like, to an extent, Pale Snake just kind of does whatever Araki needs it to. Like, aside from the CDs, like, it's got too many, like, other weird powers, I guess, you know? But, But that was interesting, and even still, Weather was able to use the blood on his jacket in order to hit him. So, I like that. And as frustrating as it is, you know, it makes sense that with this whole thing of fate, like, this is supposed to be, Poochie will get there, you know? It's just that hopefully Jolene will be able to stop him before truly achieving heaven. And it pretty much has to be Jolene, you know? But the whole thing of the car coming in and, you know, pretty much ruining everything when he was about to kill him, you know, is unfortunate. But it makes sense. And yeah, it was just good. And again, building off of last episode, just his whole story. Because again, it's like, you know, they tease it of like, oh, you know, he's a real maniac, you know? And then you see the backstory and it's like, well, he should probably be the hero, you know? You know, he might need to be the hero. He kind of got like a Bucciarati thing going on when you think about it. It's like he has this deeper backstory and why he's in all of this, but we have to have a JoJo be the sort of audience surrogate, I guess. That make any sense? I don't know. But yeah, so it's like, I like all of that, and I like the story of weather forecast. It's one of those things where I'm kind of like, you've been sitting on this for a while? Like, geez, like, this was really good. And then the fact that it's like, that's it? No more of that. And it's like, oh, really? It's like the most interesting thing you've had in this part. And there was a lot of interesting stuff in the prison, definitely. But, like, this was really, really good. And now it's like, oh, that's over, unfortunately. I just noticed on Netflix, it writes out Poochie with an H. Pucchi. I haven't seen it like that. I've normally just seen Pucci, Poochie. So, if I've been spelling it wrong this whole time, I don't want to go back and fix YouTube tags. Oh well. But yeah. So again, Macbeth, but their clothes are made of cheese. It is still Macbeth, so that's something. You know, it's the same thing. Like, if you look at, like, I don't know, Gankutsuo, the Count of Monte Cristo anime, really great. Set, you know, in the future, and there's space stuff and a bunch of crazy stuff. It's still the Count of Monte Cristo, though. Like, almost through and through. It's one of the most accurate adaptations, so it's a really damn good version to watch, you know? And so it's like this. It's like, this was a really, really great story of Poochie and Weather. There was just this stupid shit about snails, so meh. I guess we'll just take what we can get, you know? Araki can't just do a Shakespearean tragedy. He still has to make it bizarre. And I know, because that's the thing is, I'm going to be like, oh, this is really stupid. And people are like, yeah, but it's JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Yes, but bizarre doesn't fully mean subliminal snails. I don't know. And you would think 6 parts in I'd be more used to this, but I don't know. Look, if anybody gets used to how JoJo works, then Araki is slacking. So I guess he's doing what he should always be doing, is weird shit in a good story. So I guess I'll give him that. Anywho, it's still 3 days till the new moon, so we'll see what happens next. With all that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. There's a bunch of links on screen if you want to go click around any of those. There's a playlist with all of my JoJo's Bizarre Adventure reactions, as well as another video you can go click on if you want. There's also a subscribe button and a Patreon button on screen, as well as other links in the description if you want to go check out any of those. See you guys later.